Top 10 free browser games. Are you worried that having a dull day and being unable to load super exciting games on your system? Have you ever thought about experiencing the thrill and fun of video games but your PC doesn't necessarily have the specs? Do not worry, because in this video, we'll be taking a look at the best browser games you can get. Now without further ado, let's get started. Number 10 is Doom. Doom is a first-person shooter with early three-dimensional visuals. Through a series of levels set in military bases on Mars moons and Hell, the player controls an unknown space trooper eventually dubbed Doom Guy. To complete the level, the player must navigate through the environment to a defined exit room. The classes are organized into designated episodes, with the last level focusing on a boss battle against a formidable foe. While the environment is rendered in 3D, the adversaries and items are rendered as 2D sprites that may be viewed from various angles. A technique known as 2.5D graphics, with a technical name of raycasting, the levels are frequently labyrinthine, with a full-screen automap that reveals sections explored up to that point. Released more than 20 years ago, Doom's engaging gameplay still makes a good suggestion. Number 9 is QWOP. Players take on the role of QWOP, an Olympic-level athlete competing in the 100-meter dash. Players must take control of the movement of the athlete's legs using only Q, W, O, and P keys to keep the character from toppling over. The Q and W keys control each runner's thigh, while the O and P keys control the calves. The Q key causes the runner to the right thigh to go forward and the left thigh to move backwards, whereas the W key has the reverse effect. The O and P keys function similarly to the Q and W keys, but with the runner's calves. The resistance imposed by gravity and inertia on a joint affects the actual amount of movement it can make. Even though QWOP's goal is straightforward, the game has been criticized for being difficult to master due to its Q, W, O, P key commands. Next up on our list is number 8, Threes. It's a very addicting numerical puzzle that's simple to learn but challenging to master. The goal is to stack adjacent and identically numbered cards on top of one of the other by moving left, right, up, or down. To combine add-ins and multiples of 3, the player slides numbered tiles on a 4x4 grid. 1s or 2s, for example, combine to form a single 3 tile. 2s, 3s combines to a form of 6, and 2 6s combine to create 12. Swiping the screen up, down, left, right moves all of the tiles on one square on the grid in that direction, if feasible, and adds a new tile in the same order. On screen, the color of the arriving tile is displayed by sliding the grid without letting go. Players can preview moves, and each type of number tile has its personality. And when you first open the game, you'll be greeted by a screen full of confetti. Number 7 is Spelunky. When played on a web browser, Spelunky, widely recognized as one of gaming's greats, is just as absorbing as ever. Battle terrifying monsters, navigate various traps, amass valuable wealth as you search for the hidden treasures beneath the surface. The levels are randomized, ensuring fresh experiences with each game. Suitable for speedrunners and high-score chasers, Spelunky is a true classic that you must play. Exploring great regions packed with monsters, traps, and wealth will take you deep down. Number 6 is CATAN Universe. Since its introduction in 1995, Settlers of Catan has established itself as a classic board game. CATAN Universe, like any other classic board games, has made its way to the digital domain. This free-to-play game is faithful to the original, allowing you to grow your settlements and gather resources to win. It's cross-platform, so you can play on various devices and compete against other players, even if they're on a different platform. While there are some in-game purchases for expansions or other items, even if you only have your phone, it's a terrific way to scratch that board game itch. Number 5 is Slither.io. Slither.io is a relaxing and enjoyable game that is reminiscent of the famous mobile snake game. The game's goal is to turn or control a worm into a large region and eat pellets while defending and defeating and consuming other players to build mass and become the game's most prominent and longest player ever. Players' avatars stay in perpetual motion once they are seeded into the virtual environment. The player will die if its worm's head collides with a section of another worm. The body of the defeated avatar is transformed into a bright, dazzling array of pellets that can be consumed by other players, the amount of mass required for the vanquished avatar to grow in that length. These pellets, which remain an avatar's death, are brighter and more extensive than regular pellets, and they correlate to the avatar's hue. Bullets dropped by the other worms provide more bulk than standard pellets. Individual chase pellets will appear in various locations around the planet, and when eaten, these will offer more mass than pellets dropped by other worms. Chase pellets ran away from the worms and fled when they got too close. Boosting can be used to get chase pellets. Number 4 is the Dark Room. A game starts with the player waking up in a cold, dark room after witnessing a bizarre incident. The player can only light and tend the fire in the room at first. The player obtains the ability to collect resources, communicate with strangers, build a settlement, and explore the globe as the game develops. The variety and quantity of resources and exploration available increases as the game goes. The game draws inspiration from the classic text-based computer games from the 70s. Number 3 is Wonderput. Wonderput is another excellent flash game that delivers mini-golf to your browser in a fun and unique way. Observe in awe the awesome levels as they evolve into imaginative courses that will put your short game to the test. Wonderput, unlike its real-life equivalent, is extremely simple to play. All you have to do now is place your cursor to establish the angle and force of your shot. It was created using Millage's previous game, Adverput's source code. The game's artistic aesthetics were praised, with Tom Curtis of Games Sutra comparing the images of an MC Escher artwork. In 2011, it was the finalist for the Excellence in Visual Art Award at the Independent Games Festival. The game was created over the course of 6 months in 2011 and was first distributed on Congregate. By May 2013, the game had risen to the top on UK's Apple Store paid app charts. With over 100,000 copies sold, Wonderput is a fantastic mini-golf game that is ideal for passing the time while enjoying a cup of coffee. Number 2 is Line Rider. The fundamental principle is to use the mouse to draw one or more lines on which a boy on a sledge, dubbed Bosch by the designer, can ride after pressing the play button. Simulated physics are used in the game, therefore the track must be smooth enough to keep the character from tumbling off the sledge. The concept is simple. Design a rough path for your rider to slide around on, make as many tweaks or additions as you want, then sit back and watch the action unfold. In Line Rider, the only boundaries are your imagination and a compelling physics engine that keeps things realistic. The original Flash version was replaced on July 1, 2008 with a straight new Silverlight version, which features a new feature that allows users to send music over Windows Messenger to other users. On October 23, 2009, Beta 3 was released, which includes dual player support, a camera, a trapdoor, and deceleration lines. In 2015, a spiritual successor was announced. By the way, it's called Riders Republic. Anyways, moving on to our number 1 pick is the Chrome DINO game. This game needs no introduction as it is one of the most famous and mainstream passing the time games you could ever think of. When a user navigates to a web page while Chrome browser is offline, the browser informs them that they are not connected to the internet. The lonely T-Rex dinosaur is depicted as the top of the page, a sprinting dinosaur runs from left to right across the desert terrain, and the player avoids impending hazards such as cacti and pterodactyls by jumping or ducking. Pressing space on the keyboard will make you jump, while pushing down will make you dip. Mobile users can only move the spacebar to jump. The speed of the play increases as the game progresses until the user can no longer keep up and runs into a barrier, resulting in an instant game over. At the top, a Nelly T-Rex dinosaur. Thanks to Google, you can still have fun while you're offline. Anyways, that's all we have for the top 10 browser games. Hope you like the content. Do let us know your top picks in the comments section down below. Thanks for hanging in there until the end, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye!